There are things that time just doesn't erase. The Toronto Maple Leafs, with their century-old history, are masters at reminding us that every decision, every name, every exit or arrival can echo for decades in the memory of those who were this blue and white. And it's no different now. Kaye Jarnkrok, a veteran who's always quietly given his all, seems to have reached that crossroads that haunts our fan base so often. Stay where he no longer fits, or leave to make room for a bigger dream. And that dream has a familiar name: Nazem Kadri, the prodigal son that some still believe to come back. And before we dive deeper into this story, I invite you, from the heart, to join this conversation from the stands that we keep alive here. Drop your like, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, because every click of yours is like a clap of support, a cheer in the middle of a packed ACC. Here, no one stays alone to swallow bad news or feed hope. Here it's fan to fan, and each one makes this crestway even more. The truth is, even those who only follow casually have noticed, Jarnkrok's name has been swirling around the rumor mill for weeks. And even though he hasn't asked to leave, which shows character, he doesn't seem willing to stick around holding a candle at a party that isn't his anymore. On the ice, he did what he could, came back from surgery, tried to fit in, but with Craig Berube in charge, the system demands a different intensity, a different dynamic. And here's the dilemma. Is it worth keeping a veteran who adds to the locker room but delivers little on the ice? Or clear the way for someone who can truly go toe-to-toe in the top six? The detail that few realize is that this trade isn't just about Jarnkrok. It's about what it could unlock. Trailering, the GM, has big names on the board: Jared McCann, Braden Shen, Jordan Carew, even Erik Karlsson and Dougie Hamilton have been mentioned. And let's not pretend to be surprised. This franchise carries decades of risky bets. Some that turned into fiascos, others that changed everything. Who doesn't remember when the Leafs let go of names that seemed expendable at the time, but became champions elsewhere? Talking about this opens up a chest full of memories. Remember when Kadri left? It was 2019. The city was breathing playoffs, but also anxiety. He, a homegrown kid, 10 years wearing the Leafs crest, left after 2 crucial suspensions that cost the team dearly. Many swallowed hard, others celebrated, but almost everyone regretted it when they saw Kadri lifting the Stanley Cup with the Avalanche in 2022. And that kind of scar stays. It's not just Kadri. You can go back further. How many times has Toronto been too quick to ditch someone who could have become a hero? Tyler Bozak, who made history in St. Louis. Phil Kessel, who shut everyone up in Pittsburgh. These names come back like ghosts every time the Maple Leafs decide to give up on veterans. Do you remember another departure that hurt as much as that one? And do you remember how every poorly calculated trade seems to come back to bite us later? Let's look at the numbers, because in the end, they always tell part of the story. Kaye Jarnkrok, 19 games, 7 points, 1 goal, 6 assists. Playoffs? Way too quiet for someone who was supposed to be a safety piece on the third or fourth line. Meanwhile, Kadri, at 33, shows no signs of slowing down. 35 goals, 32 assists, 67 points last regular season with the Flames. And when it comes to the playoffs, those with fresh memories know. Kadri isn't just stats. He's that guy who throws his body in front, who chirps, who amps the team up to 220 volts. He's physical, he's a pest, he's clutch. The kind of player you love to have on your side and hate to play against. And that's exactly the type of player the Leafs have been missing for years. Mitch Marner left, leaving a hole in the top six that neither Maxelli nor Nick Roy can fill alone. Trailering made it clear. He wanted an impact guy, someone brave enough to push back, someone who makes this team stop being nice when it matters most. The question is, if it's not Kadri, then who? Jack Roslovic shows up as an option. A guy who's shown good flashes in Columbus, but has never carried the pressure of a city like Toronto. Kunin is on the list too. A profile that a lot like Jarnkrok himself. Versatile, hardworking, does the basics. But is that what we want? Trade 6 for half a dozen? The fan base is used to seeing these average names arrive full of promise, only to become disappointments. And deep down, the question is it worth making this cold swap for a youth package? Or do we really need someone who already has battle scars to carry the young guys on his back? For those looking at Jared McCann, the hope is different. McCann had a solid season in Seattle. Over 60 points. A player who could be that second or third name to take the weight off the top six. He doesn't have Kadri's presence, but he doesn't carry ghosts either. He's a guy who shows up to work without needing to save everything alone. And Berube likes that. He wants intensity, a physical team, a team that won't get steamrolled in the playoff series like we've seen too many times. Do you think McCann fits? Or do you still dream of Kadri coming back as the kid who left too soon? All of this runs into the salary cap, which is already tight. And here comes the domino effect. Moving Jarnkrok clears space. It's a cheap contract, but every dollar counts. And the market is cruel. Nashville, Seattle. Even division rivals can look at Jarnkrok as depth for a playoff third line. And we all know the bitter taste of seeing ex-Leafs shine in another jersey. That's why, this time, Trailerving needs to measure his step carefully. One wrong move will spend another decade debating this decision in bars and online forums. For me, as a fan who's seen many stumbles, the Leafs need to be cold but not heartless. Letting Jarnkrok go makes sense if it's to bring in Kadri, a McCann, a name that actually shakes up the room. But trading just for cap space, only to swallow another mediocre contract, is shooting yourself in the foot. And this fan base deserves more than that. Are we seeing history repeat itself? Will the one leaving through the back door become a playoff headline somewhere else this time? What intrigues me is that Kadri himself doesn't shut the door. In interviews, he jokes, says he hears the rumors all the time, that he has fun with it. But in practice, the Flames don't want to let him go. He still has 4 years left on a big contract, and Craig Conroy, the Flames GM, has already said Kadri is calm, focus on Calgary. So there's that bittersweet rumor. Could it happen? Is it just speculation? Or is it just another one of those soap operas that inflame our hopes for nothing? In your experience, does this kind of decision strengthen or split the locker room? Is Toronto finally ready to stop being almost and take a bold step for real? The offseason was busy. Marner left, Maxelli and Roy came in, but the whole offensive line is still there. And if Toronto really wants to stand toe-to-toe with the Eastern powerhouses, they need depth, but they also need someone who makes noise. Someone who won't disappear when the ice heats up. Trailerving seems to get that, but understanding is one thing. Having the guts to sacrifice beloved pieces is a whole different story. Do you believe letting Jarnkrok go is really the right step? Who, in your opinion, fits better, Kadri, McCann, or a name no one's talking about? And honestly, what was the trade that hurt you the most? Tell me, because each of these stories makes our jersey heavier. Drop it in the comments. Your memories, your opinion, are what keep this crest alive. In the end, every trade is a gamble. Every rumor, a spark. What no one knows is whether this time that fire will warm the ice or burn our hope once again. We'll just have to wait and see. Will this wound heal quickly or echo for generations to come?